Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Subletts. Missouri, Texas. Yeah. You love me. You believe in me. You cherish me. Hi, everybody. We haven't been on in a while, so I'm waiting on Candace to get herself together, and she'll be joining us at some point. She just got off work, if you can't hear her whispering in the background. So, we have a pretty interesting show today. We're going to wait for some people to join us and we will get going. I know we have a lot of things to update you on. We haven't been on for a couple of weeks, just trying to get things together. Seems like life just kind of keeps happening. So, we'll give it a few minutes. Looks like I got some sharing to do. And then we will get the show started. I hope you guys are having a great week. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. So I was just informed by Candace. We're going to be doing a drawing for $50 tonight for whoever shares this live tonight. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and add a banner so you guys can see what we're giving away. She says she's coming. Okay. I feel like I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. I haven't done a show in a couple of weeks and I'm all out of sorts. So, like I stated, I'm going to go ahead and share this show a little bit to get us some folks so we can have a discussion about grief because grief is real. And I guess unless you go through certain places in grief, certain levels, we shall say, there are a lot of things that you really just don't know you can experience. So I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation tonight. Let's see here. Facebook has definitely done some new stuff when it comes to live shows, and I don't really know if I like it just yet. Let's see. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. This just makes my life so much easier. Sorry, y'all. I know I'm trying to pull it together and multitask. I didn't change all kind of things on here. If you're just tuning in, as you can see, we are doing a giveaway tonight for $50 for anyone who shares the show. We got a few people coming in. So go ahead and take a second and share this show. It's going to be a really good one. All right. So we usually begin our show with a weekly highlight. To be honest, I don't really know if I have one. But let's see. It's still Wednesday, so this week is fresh. Uh, hmm. I did go to Vegas for the second time last weekend. Was it last week? Weekend before last. Sorry, my days are all confused. But I went to Vegas. Myself, my wife, and one of our friends. We went and we got to enjoy ourselves and do things we didn't get to do when we went last year. We went to play bingo, and oh my god, that was so much fun. Definitely love bingo. I have to find somewhere here in Texas to play because it was so much fun, and I didn't realize how fun it is. Because when you're younger, you play bingo, but it's like basic bingo. Like I think we used to play with beans, like for our little cover things. But I like the whole getting to get my dauber thing out of a vending machine. That was neat. Getting to just stamp the different ones, and there was like so many on a sheet. It was crazy. It was like 12 on a page and all this other stuff. So trying to figure out the games and how to win, that probably was the best part, the competitiveness of it. So that definitely was fun, and we ate so much food. um, there was this one place that actually was like a bar and grill, but it was in a casino, of course, and they had these amazing mozzarella sticks, and they were like cubes of mozzarella cheese, and they were fried and they were put on a stick, and you only get three and they're massive. But when I tell you, like, I think I craved those all weekend after we had them that first time. They were they were so good. I think I want to take a trip back just to have some of those. And we met Santa Claus. I thought that was neat. He gave me his business card. Y'all know Santa Claus had business cards. He really did look like Santa Claus, but he was in his summer attire, so his hair was kind of cut. His beard wasn't as long for the winter yet, but he says he's been doing Santa for like 30 years, so that was kind of cool. Um, we definitely drove this time instead of riding our motorcycles like we did last year. Probably will never drive again because that was an extremely long drive. I will be flying the next time we go, because definitely don't think I can make that drive again. It's absolutely too. But I think the road tripping aspect of it and just getting to bond and hang out and what have you, I think that was really awesome. So yeah, I'm still sharing, you guys. I'm sorry. Candace is taking her sweet time getting on the show, per usual. Again, if you are just tuning in, we are doing a giveaway of $50 for whoever shares the show tonight. So you definitely have to share it while we're on the show. It can't be after the show. So let's see. I really feel like we haven't been on here in, has it been like 3 weeks? We have so much to catch up on. And I'm trying not to start the conversation without Candace because she needs to be a part of it. Um, so she said she's going to be in here in just a moment. So we shall see. Meanwhile, share, share, share. Send us some likes, send us some hearts. We really could use some hearts this week. Oh, life is just lifing right now. Life is definitely lifing. Okay. I think I've done enough sharing, you guys. I feel like I need some intermission music or something while I'm waiting. Sorry it's taking so long. We didn't realize she'd be cutting it so close, leaving work and getting here. But you know, that's the perks of flying by the seat of your pants, as they say. Sometimes you just gotta be agile and adjust to things that happen. Expect the unexpected. Hmm.
Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry I'm late. Tardy for the party. Still trying to get my stuff together. Y'all see all my office stuff in the back. I was supposed to take that to work. So thank y'all very much for tuning in to Meet the Subletts. I know we have been MIA for the last couple of weeks, but we are definitely back in action, just trying to get some things figured out. How are you doing, babe? I guess I didn't really get to say hi to you when I got home.
I am hanging in there,
Hanging in there? Okay. Well, I was definitely coming in for a kiss and
and I
realized
was
that you
already
weren't.
on the show. Yeah.
I did see that, and they probably wouldn't have cared. But if you're just tuning in, I heard Bay say that we are doing a $50 giveaway for those who share this live while we're on here tonight. So we're excited about being able to give away a $50 can be a donation, but a $50 gift card. I've learned we can't give away cash. So please let us know. We may do it on the prepaid Visa, but please let us know if you shared or that sort of thing. So we start.
Inbox me a screenshot.
Okay, inbox Bay a screenshot or inbox MTS Network screenshot.
Yes.
All right. So what do we have going on? So we have been MIA the last couple of weeks. I think the first week we were getting ready for Vegas. Oh no, we went to Vegas.
No. We before that.
Were we
Uh,
getting ready for Vegas?
no. We
Hmm.
had the whole debacle with the fertility specialist. That was the week before.
Okay. So y'all, we got a lot to tell y'all about it. It has been stressful. And no one went to jail. So you want to start there or do you want to give me like my weekly highlight?
We're gonna start with your weekly highlight.
In the last 7 days, my weekly highlight. So tonight's topic is grief. And I'm not going to get too far into it right now, but we will discuss the last 3 weeks of our lives. And they've definitely been a challenge. And I'm actually grateful that I am with my wife. And I can honestly say, no matter what we've gone through, what we've tried to figure out, what we refuse to figure out, we're still here and rocking. Um, we have yet to meet another person that can build the bond that we have, um, or the vibe we have. And so we've definitely gone through some things in the last few weeks. I think that's my weekly highlight. I can honestly say that's probably my last 3 weeks of highlight is being able to be in a safe space and being able to provide a safe space for the challenges that we have had to overcome. I think our last big blow up was the fertility week. So let's talk about that. You ready, babe?
Sure. Yeah.
I want to hear your perspective because I know mine.
You know yours.
Hmm.
Well, let me just start off by saying the fertility specialist that we used or we were using was one that I started going to in 2020. I won't say who or the name or whatever. But I actually really liked the doctor that I had, and she was very thorough. She was really good at explaining things to me. She was the only person that I had found thus far willing to help us in the situation that we are in the route that we are trying to go to start our family. And so when I began seeing her in 2020, I went through all kind of testing. I mean, blood work. I had a biopsy done of my cervix. I had to do this and that, and all these different tests to, prepare for this journey. And so, of course, in 2020, that's also when we lost our jobs and just things kind of went awry. And so I wasn't able to go back and continue my treatment plan with her at that time. And so that was kind of put on hold with everything that was going on. And so, probably in June or July, Candace comes to me and she's like, "Babe, I'm ready to have a baby." And so she's like, "I'm going to make you an appointment." And so I was like, "Okay, I want to go back." Okay, well, I want to go back to the same doctor that I'm using or that I was using. And so that was where she made the appointment. And from the gate, I would say that it wasn't a struggle initially. Of course, there was some, hoops and things with changing insurance and this and that. You have to get a new referral and such
Hmm.
just to be seen. And so we got our referral and we went to our first appointment and we sat and had a conversation and discussed the things that I didn't get to discuss previously, such as being diagnosed with PCOS. So I was actually diagnosed with that, and then just trying to piece together a treatment plan to help us get pregnant. And so there were various things she told us we needed to do, like legality things in terms of donors and things like that. And there was like a couple of other tests that I still had to do just to make sure everything was good. And so um, the location that I was going to in 2020 was not the location that we went to this year because she actually stopped practicing at this particular location. However, for the test that I still had to complete, I later learned, go to the first location that I went to. And I was just like, okay, well, that's not an issue. I didn't have any issues before. I know exactly where it is. Matter of fact, I actually ran across the video. From a couple years ago, I rode my motorcycle to some of my appointments, and I
Yeah.
saw the video come up in my memories. And so when it actually came down to getting scheduled to have my test done, I had to have an x-ray done of my uterus basically to make sure that my fallopian tubes are open and eggs are flowing and everything like that because I have a zillion eggs as I was told. So I'm not on a shortage of those. Just to just make sure again that everything was good. And so when they scheduled this appointment for me, um, we we went initially for this appointment. Mind you, I had to call the prior week to set up this appointment because it's based on the days of your cycle and things like that. So I had a specific window that I had to be within to do this test. And so when I called and I set it up, they set it up, everything was great. We made the appointment. The day of the appointment, the day before the appointment, I got a confirmation text to confirm my appointment, basically make sure that I was still coming and all of that stuff. So when we actually got there, we walked in, and it was like it was us, and there was another couple that was being helped before we got there. And so of course we ran in there. It wasn't last minute. We were early enough to get food from the cafeteria and be on
Yeah.
time, because it was early in the morning and we needed breakfast. And so um, Candace, of course, sits down to eat her breakfast, and I'm waiting in line because she went for the food. She did, but I'm waiting in line to get checked in for my appointment, to get these things done, and so I'm watching the interaction with the lady in front of me and the personnel behind the window. And their interaction, it was friendly, professional, whatever. And they were helping her with whatever she needed help with. But by the time I made it to the window, the demeanor and the attitude, I guess, was completely different. I definitely got a more hostile
Mhm.
interaction. It was very confrontational, and I mean, for those who know me, know I'm not confrontational. Unless you push me there, I can be, but I'm not a confrontational person. And so basically, we were told that there was paperwork that we needed that we didn't have, but we had already gotten it. And I specifically made sure that everything that we needed for this appointment was done ahead of time, because I didn't want to have any more hiccups like before with having to get referral forms and things like that, because it's the same doctor, just a different location for testing. So I didn't really think that it would be too much of an issue. However, um, they gave us a really hard time about some paperwork that we had already had. And just in delivering the information, it was very short, not helpful. There was no guidance in figuring out what it is I needed. It was just more so, oh, you don't have this. You need this to do this. You can't do this test today because you still are, X, Y, and Z. And so once I was able to call the call center, which is the ones that basically make all the appointments for all of the locations, and I asked them about the paperwork. They told me that I was missing. They stated that I had received they had received the paperwork. They had
Mhm.
actually contacted my insurance. They knew what was
Mhm.
covered. They knew what my deductible was, but
Right.
they needed like there was like one part of the paper that my doctor didn't fill in or whatever. It just was blank. And so I understood that. And I also told them that I could call and get it corrected or whatever the case may be. It wasn't a big deal. And, but I stated that, I hadn't had any issues with my doctor's appointments prior to that day. They used the form. There was no issue. I wasn't
Right.
told ahead of time that there was a
In
problem.
Dallas, yeah.
Right. And so when I called my doctor, of course, they were really helpful, willing to send over whatever they needed again. And they told me that they would do it. And so when I went back inside to let the people behind the glass know, they just weren't very
They were very
friendly. They
confrontational.
weren't very receptive or very encouraging, I guess, very
Right.
helpful,
Understanding,
very
empathetic.
understanding of, for one,
Yeah.
this is a new process for us together. And
Yes.
Nita, also, let me just say, when I was going to this location in 2020, I had never had any of these issues with, and I'm pretty sure it was the same people working there that I saw before. I never had any issues. I never there wasn't any confrontation or any, they were really nice, really helpful when it was just me. And so now that I'm here with my spouse, it's a whole nother story. And you're very aggressive and demeaning and rude, and you're
Yeah.
talking down to us
Yeah.
and belittling us kind of like we're stupid. And not to mention, you slam the glass in people's face, right? So I go back in
Ooh.
I go back in and I let them know that my doctor's office was sending over the paperwork again, and she immediately was like, "Well, I couldn't get anyone on the phone, and I and X, Y, and Z," and I was just like, "I literally just talked to them, they're gonna send it over or whatever." And she's like, "Well, you have to reschedule your appointment because you can't do it today or whatever, whatever." So I was like, "Okay." And the first available appointment they had for me to reschedule my test was that Friday. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll come back on Friday and do the test. And so by the time we made it back on Friday, um, they were singing the same tune of how we didn't have the
That we just
paperwork.
paid $30 in an Uber
Right. And
to
how
get to this part of town.
right. And they're saying how we didn't have, the paperwork, we didn't have this or that.
Still. And
Still,
they called and texted her, but her number was wrong. But she got the update and the text to confirm the appointment a second time.
right. Right. And so of course, I by the time I actually made it in there the second time on Friday when we went in, I stood at the window for about 5 minutes. No one came. I later found out they were in the back eating cake, whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever
they were
you're
having a
celebrating,
potluck.
whatever that's fine, whatever. And
We
so
all eat at our job or at our
right.
businesses.
But because no one came to the window, I decided to go to the bathroom. And then Candace comes in the bathroom and she's yelling, and I'm like, why are you yelling at me? Like, what is wrong? And she's just like yelling, like they're saying you still need this paperwork, and they're saying I'm not on the paperwork, and it's just this big old thing. And so of course I go out and I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I know that I've called my doctor's office, and I know
Right.
that they
And
sent
our
this
doctor is
paperwork.
efficient.
And it's not even that far from where we are. Like it's literally like right up the street. It's not that
Yeah.
bad. And
Right.
so I of course I called my doctor's office again, and I'm like, oh, they're saying they still haven't received the paperwork, and they're saying, and my doctor office tells me that they've already sent it 3 times this week
Yeah.
for them. And so I was like, well, can you send it again? And they were happy to send it again. And I walked in there and I had them on the phone as I'm walking in there. And so one of the ladies who's behind the glass decides that she's gonna call her office manager. Um, I'm already frustrated because now I'm doing this for a second time and you're delaying my appointment yet again. And so the office manager, she's on the phone, and they took me to the back to this office room, and I sat in there and I talked to the lady on the phone, and she was very nonchalant, maybe is the word. Very emotionless, very whatever, like just whatever about the situation. And
Hmm.
and I'm already bothered because now my wife is frustrated and she's sitting outside, waiting on me to do this appointment or whatever the case may be. And the office manager, she doesn't even really care about the fact that they keep telling me that my paperwork is wrong and all this other stuff. She would rather tell me that I need to speak with my wife in regards to threatening people, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I haven't heard her threaten anyone. She's been sitting outside the entire time. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But I do know that you should probably tell your employees how they should treat patients when
And
they come
speak to
in
people.
and speak to
Yeah.
people. Like, if
People
you're
who
going to
are
be
already
rude,
nervous, who are
right,
already,
unsure
on
of what's
pins and
going on,
needles.
and I'm
Right.
relying
Don't
on you
know.
to guide
Yep.
me in the right direction. And
Exactly.
so if you
Y'all the
have a problem with
professionals.
the people that come into this practice for the things that you offer, this might not be the job for you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I tell the lady, I was like, no, I'm not going to speak to my wife when your staff was clearly rude to us, not once, but twice, because this is the
Yeah.
second day. And I don't feel like I should have to say anything when your staff wasn't even giving us the respect, that
Yep.
they think they deserve. And so by the time I ended up coming out of the office, I actually still had the lady on the phone from my doctor's office because she was going to verbally give them the information that they needed since they kept saying that
They
they
didn't receive
didn't receive the paperwork, but they've emailed it, they've faxed it. I mean, they did everything but drive it over there, to be honest. And
it.
so,
Which is around the corner.
right. And so I I text Candace, tell her to come back inside. And I think I got it all worked out, right? Like we're just going to get this test done because we don't have to come back to this location anymore. It is what it is. We're just gonna get through it. And she's already like, we just need to find a new doctor. And I'm like, but we're already here, and I have a specific window to get this test done for this cycle. And so as she's trying to come back in, mind you, one of the one of the people that was working in the front came in right before she did, opened the door, no problem. She was carrying
Oh,
she was carrying some delivery boxes. So I guess I didn't see her when she locked the door, but I guarantee she knew you were coming in because she came in right before you did. And
I
so
remember somebody going in there. I thought they was a patient.
right. So by the time Candace made it to the door is locked and she can't get back in. And so I'm walking over to let her in because I'm thinking, oh, maybe they locked it because they stepped out or something like that. And there was no one in the waiting room because I was the only person that was in there. And so the lady's like, no, she can't come back in. She's not allowed here. You know, she was threatening people or whatever the case may be. But mind you, if she had threatened anyone as a black person, the first person that they would call would be the police
Right.
or the
And
security in the hospital.
actually, not even security or the police, because my psychiatrist, because I told him about this situation, definitely told me that they would call him. So they would think that I'm crazy if we are in a medical facility and they will call the psychiatrist to calm me down and figure out what's going on. They
But
would not call
they called no one.
no one.
No one.
So your raggedy people I already know that y'all was in the wrong, but it's cool. So what we gonna do, what we did do, I found another doctor. We're gonna go with this fine gentleman and hope he can get something worked out. We definitely did miss our window, unfortunately, but that's fine. You know, and if we tried the measure, tried the same measure and technique we've been, utilizing for years. And if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But people deserve to be treated with respect. And that's the one thing that I'm going to continue to harp on, whether it's in your family, in your relationship, um, within even friendships, but especially, when you're paying for a service, you're receiving a service that you do not know anything about, and
Right.
you're entrusting professionals to take care of you through this process.
Right.
If you're going to be, this is creating life, and
Hmm.
you're treating us like, and then of course my wife, being who she is, at some point a few days later looked up the Google reviews, and so there were other homosexual, aka lesbian couples, African American women of color, who experienced this. So that's why we wanted to talk about it and bring up awareness about it. We see all the videos and the beautiful pictures and the TikToks, but how many of those families had to go through what we went through?
Right.
How many of those women who someone is supposed to be out here advocating for us, how do I not know that they went through, some of the same experience, from male, these were
How
from
many of
women.
them just accepted it to get what they wanted?
Yeah. Just got quiet and just allowed to go to this, but no. No, no, no. No, ma'am, no, sir, no how. That's not what we're doing. What we are going to do, like I said, is try another doctor. We'll figure out the process and we'll keep it moving. So that was pretty much the first week that we missed. Really dealing with that. And my doctor said I handled it really well because I wanted to punch the glass. I wanted to grab the bride by the hair. I wanted to do all those things, but I definitely
I'm glad
had.
you didn't do that.
Oh no, because I definitely was going to Vegas. With nobody in the way of Vegas. I don't care who you are. That was pretty much like what kept me sane. And then not even that, I'm working on, being a business person, an entrepreneur, and really building networks. So I never know who works in this office that I'm gonna see in my professional life. So that's what, kept me mindful of me, acting up in Irving, Texas.
Right.
Um, so I have to be a smart business person and understand how to utilize, what it is, and the tools that I have to correct some of the issues and the
Hmm.
resources we can catch. On the week 2 of Continue Loved, and we, y'all, we it was bad. It was bad in our house. The whole weekend, my wife was stressed. I didn't know it. I was just trying to get a peace of mind. And then week 2 is coming, and then I'm working. I'm trying to get things handled before this promotion kicks in October, and then we're getting ready for Vegas. And so we get on the road to Vegas. Boop, on the road to Vegas. And we had a great time. We drove 18 hours. We enjoyed ourselves. It wasn't a rush. Things were good. And then we got there on Thursday morning,
Hmm.
afternoon. We went and stopped
Yeah.
by. We went and stopped by, hung out for a little bit, checked in a hotel. I think we ended up resting. I think we all needed a break after all those hours in the car. So just to be in a free space was good. I know, especially for me, I was tired as heck. But we had a great time. We got to hang out with our people, with our brothers, with some of our sisters. We got to see some old faces, met a lot of new ones. Um, got to hang out with our sponsor. My wife got to just hang out with whomever. It pretty much was me and my bestie's trip. And I got to hang out with my bestie, me and my wife did. And that was a pretty dope time. Um, yeah. So that was a dope time. So that's what we had going on in Vegas. We went to play bingo. I heard my wife say that as her highlight.
It was. That
It
was
was,
great.
yeah, we got our daubers in there. But I'm gonna just be honest with you. Um, from here on out, I'm just gonna pay the 40 something dollars and get the electronic. I'm just not. I'm just not. I like too many boards. It's not on the phone where I can swipe. No, I got the bop 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 bop. And then they got all these different patterns that I wasn't used to. So I'm definitely going to get the electronic option until I can figure out these different patterns. Then I'll be on it. So I definitely like the sheets and the daubers, but until I can figure it out. So yeah. So bingo was great. We ate lots of good food. Definitely visited a dispensary. They are definitely 24 hours. It was definitely a delight and treat. Um, so yeah, um, we got to see a lot of things. Never made it to the strip. Never. Didn't get to see my uncle, but we definitely enjoyed ourselves. Yeah, yeah. So, what you got to say about Vegas, baby?
I said it all in my weekly highlight.
Okay, okay. So, all right. So we are going to tonight's topic is grief, and we wanted to. My wife asked me what we were going to talk about, and I wanted to be real and honest about grief and about how things go, and it's just how we're doing. So last Wednesday, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Hello, spoiled
Hey,
one.
spoiled one.
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Last Wednesday. So what is our weekly highlight? Like I said, my weekly highlight is my wife and I have been through some trials in the last few weeks, and we are still trying to make it maintain. We are continuing to figure it out, and we're continuing to provide a safe space for each other, to be the messiest, jelliest, the most open and honest space that we could be in. And then my best friend, she had a stroke on Tuesday night. Now, this is after we got out of the car um, in a trip on Monday morning. And so she already wasn't feeling good on the way home. So of course we like, Lord Jesus, like she wasn't breathing well. So we was just like, I hope she's okay. And usually when we come back from a trip or whatever's going on, friend doesn't feel good. And so sometimes, like when she had some months back, she had a problem with her foot, and so I used to tell her like, "Yeah, you dragging that damn foot around." So I remember after a weekend of kicking it, then she had problems with her foot. So um, friend, looking at the pictures now and the pictures before, friend was definitely swollen over the weekend. Friend was definitely not in a good health condition. And I knew that. My wife knew that. We knew that where we are right now would happen soon. We didn't know how soon. Um, I kind of projected like maybe we can get to our 45th birthdays together. That was kind of my next goal because friends goal was she wanted to make it to 40 and she wanted to go to Vegas. When she made it to 40, she went to Vegas. But I just really hoped that we could have went to our 45th birthdays. So Tuesday night, she was driving home because she had food in her car. We found out on Saturday. She was driving home from work and had a stroke, which caused her to have an accident. Um, the accident was not fatal to her in any way. It was not fatal to anyone else. It was just a minor accident. I believe we still have to get the police reports, but I believe it was just her. So once she had the accident, they took her to the hospital, found out she had had a stroke. So they figured out, whatever, tried to get her together. Then, so when we went to see her, because of course we were there at like what 11:30, we got there, and then so we finally got to see her at about 2. So well, a little before 2. So when we were in there, she was talking to us, telling me, like there's an app on the phone for Geico, to put the file this insurance claim. And, then I'm like, okay, we need to call your boss. So she's like, okay, get my work phone and I got to figure out where that is. And email my boss. So I emailed them and asked them to call me. And this is all at, 2 in the morning. So she was decent, but her left side wasn't too good, but at least she was responding. Um, so we go home. I get up, I come back. My mama drops me off because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here all day. This is how it was the last time. So I brought my work stuff, got everything set up, just like I'm sitting and talking to y'all. Everything was set up. My laptop was here. I had my phone stand, and who y'all? Let me just tell you, um, I am appreciative. I am honored. Um, but I watched my friend's soul come out of her body. I watched when she coded. I watched like I wasn't even there an hour and I'm just talking to her and like, yeah, and she's real sleepy and she was fine. She was breathing on her own. And it's like she was waiting on me to get back and she just, she was just done, and she had another stroke. And then, I just didn't know what to do. Like, y'all, I had to pop my little meds in the middle of all this because it was 2 people, then it was 15, and it was just a rough situation. And I'm thankful that for everyone, and I know I've been blowing TikTok up, y'all. Y'all about sick of my TikToks. But I'm just trying to get it out in a not so angry way, in a not blaming way, in a more positive, a more thoughtful way. I've got drafts, probably 15 videos that I did that I've recorded that I have not posted yet because I'm just trying to step by step get through the day. But I can honestly say this process taught me to be stronger than what I've ever been in life. Um, Everything that I was afraid of when it came to death, um, I did not understand. Y'all, when I tell you the last process of just being able to see what the body does and how it reacts, when death truly comes, is
Traumatizing.
it's traumatizing. But I have taken it from trauma to just like, man, one of God's creations. And I'm still, we're still nervous. We have the TV on at night, so we're not gonna act like we're okay. We've decided to go to couples therapy just to be able to get through this
Outside of
instance.
individual therapy, because
Right.
they're already doing that.
Yeah. So our couples therapy just to be able to, we're gonna set that up once we come back from the funeral. But she was a really good friend to me. She was fussy, bossy, we gonna go do this. She didn't have to have nobody with her. She did, she didn't care. She did what she wanted to do. And I so, so, so respect her in that. Um, then I had somebody that was my age, somebody I could just talk to, somebody I could just be good. What you doing, good? How you doing? Like, At least she saw me as a girl, but then as you know, I know I got this whole mask thing going on, but I could be a girl with a friend. Yeah, one day at a time. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that.
I think in
So
the moment it's interesting how like strong you can be in the moment. You know, of course you cry and you break
y'all,
down and things like that, but when it's all over, just having to get past all of that is the hard part. Being in it, like the shock, the adrenaline and all that, it kind of keeps you going and kind of keeps you hyper focused, but at the end when it's all done and you have to go home and
yeah,
continue your life, that's
yeah.
the hard part.
No
I
more six
actually
p.m. phone calls.
I actually went to the doctor yesterday and my doctor put me on two anxiety medicines because I just like I'm okay and I'm not.
Yeah,
Um it's a really hard process, and I think no matter how much the chaplains or the doctors or the nurses, they try to prepare you the best that they can for what's happening or what's going to happen, but just living through it,
yeah, yeah,
no one
yeah.
can ever prepare you for that.
No, because y'all, I asked my mama. I asked, I think somebody else, and I'm like, I asked Kitty's auntie, like, how do you like, what are we gonna experience? What are we gonna look at? What's gonna happen? And y'all, just like a baby comes out, takes his first breath, the body when we pass away, we take our last. And all of the way that the things that we don't see inside the mother's womb, the forming of the child, that breath of air and the child goes from blue to that skin change, all those things, some of the things we do see, the body does the same thing in just reverse order. And like I said, it's scary. Like we went to the bathroom together and our bathroom is from this door to this door, and I'm like, hey,
We
you
went to
want me
get water together.
yeah, at 3 in the
If one
morning
wakes
with
up at 2:30 in the morning, we're both up at 2:30 in the
yeah,
morning, and we sit and we talk and we do whatever
yeah,
we need to do to get past the moment. But
yeah,
of course, it's a day by day process, but
yeah,
it's a very hard process, very very hard. And I can say like out of my family, I'm one of the younger generation, quote unquote. So I grew up, and most of my cousins, were older, great cousins and great aunties, and all this. Like my grandfather had 13 brothers and sisters, so all of
yeah,
them, and all of my grandmother's siblings, and all of their cousins, and just in general, just I went to funerals so much as a kid, like it was like I was numb to death. I was numb to seeing dead people. I was kind of numb, like I'm sad that you're gone because you're my family and I love you. But it never ever affected me the way that it affects me now because this is somebody
yeah,
I knew. This was
yeah,
somebody in my everyday life. This is somebody
yeah,
that was sitting on my couch 2 weeks ago. Like
yeah.
it's a
Eating
different
food
process. Yes, it's such a different process
at the
at
fry party so
knowing
we could
them.
taste test
You
food for
know,
y'all.
it's a different process knowing them and then they're just gone
Yeah,
versus someone that you know and you love but you don't see them regularly. You may see them every once in a while at family reunions or family gatherings or whatever the case may be, but just to have someone who you heard their voice every day because they're on the
yeah,
phone together, or she's coming over because you've cooked dinner, or you know what
yeah,
I'm saying, like just
yeah,
having a part of your life just abruptly stop the way it did, and then you still have to hold yourself together to make sure that all of her affairs get in order and make sure that everything here is going the
make
way that
sure
it
ain't
needs to
nobody
because
gonna
this
take
isn't where
advantage
she's
of
from.
friend.
Like it's
Ain't
and
nobody gonna take advantage of my
I
friend.
think just having to continuously explain it to Candace, because she would say, like, why do people keep telling me, they appreciate me being here, they appreciate me doing everything that I do, and I really had to explain to her that
Yeah,
friends, I don't know too many people as friends who would sit in the hospital with me, and I'm already gone. I don't know who would sleep in the room with me and I'm already gone. I don't know who would stay in the room with me as they're taking me off life support. Of course, my wife would do that because we're married. And I think at the end of the day, if we were ever to go our separate ways, I would do it for her because that's the type of friends that we are.
Yeah.
But just a friend in general, someone you haven't even known but less than 2 years, maybe, like to have to be there and be supportive all the way to the end. I don't know anyone else that would do that. And that's a friend. That's somebody that I would want to have in my corner if God forbid something like that happened to me. I would want a friend just like you.
Yeah.
But not everybody is blessed to have a friend like that in their life. And I know for the 5 years that we've been together, you've been struggling with trying to maintain friends. And what is
Man.
friendship? What is the level of friendship? How much do you give
Man.
into a friendship? How much do you expect to receive out of a friendship? Just to see how unsure you were with making friends that were genuine and keeping
Yeah.
them, to see you have one and see you go through having a genuine friend in return and seeing you be a friend to the end. I don't think I know anybody else that would do that. And if there are people that I know that would do that for their friends, you are great friends because I know it's not easy. And just the fact that she was my friend because she was your friend, she became our family because you introduced us to us. She did things for us that people didn't do in our time of need. So
Yeah.
just to have to witness you
Cause
hurt
she ain't
because you
judging.
lost your best friend. I mean, yes, I'm hurting because she was my friend, but I'm hurting even more because you're my wife and you're hurting. So it's like grieving twice. And that alone is it's hard, but I know together that we'll make it through it.
Oh yeah.
I know we will, and I know it's one day at a time. And I know it gets easier, and I know it takes time, and I know it's still recent and it's still fresh, but I wanted to have this conversation while it's fresh because people should know. People should know what grief looks like. People should know, regardless of whether you've known somebody 2 years, 20 years, 5 months, if they make an impression on your life and they mean that much to you in the end, it's still going to be hard. It's still going to hurt. It's still going to be ugly. I work from home and I'm terrified to be here by myself, but who can be here with me? You know what I mean? Like just having to figure out how to navigate life now in ways that I didn't have to think of before is just it's mind blowing. It really is mind blowing, but it's beautiful to see how strength presents itself when you really need it to. Did you freeze?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, kind of. I don't know what you
Kinda.
got going. Yeah, I don't know what you got
Okay. That important phone call.
going.
Still taking care of friends' business, y'all.
Yes, still, I got a call
But
today
like
too, and I'm like,
I appreciate you actually. Man, I hope they call back. I didn't realize it till just now. But I really appreciate you for letting me know that. It has been very hard. I don't. I didn't know no other way to do it. My friend was not from here, so how do you just leave her sitting in the hospital alone? Like I don't understand that, especially if you touched on it in some way, shape, or form. How do you leave this woman sitting in a hospital alone? We don't. We don't. That's how we do that. We don't. We're not. We didn't. And for the next person, for the two, three friends I still got left, I won't.
oh, well, I don't know where she went. I guess she got her phone call that she needed. But we won't make this a long, drawn out process. Let me just go ahead and remove her. Are you? So, um, but we just wanted to get on here and give an update as to why we've been MIA, I guess you can say. Just trying to figure things out and go day to day. We still have to go to Florida for the funeral, and we still have to, we still have to work and still, get our lives back together. This is such a shock, is really what it is. It's just, it was so sudden and unexpected. I mean, we were expecting it, but not as suddenly as it was. And so we just wanted to get on here and kind of share our journey as we're going through it, because I think it's important that people see, what it looks like. And I don't want to be the person that is always open and honest, and then in moments where I really should be open and honest, I'm not. I'm definitely taking time to heal and get myself together. Therapy and two anxiety meds, because let me be honest, I struggle with anxiety a lot. I always have, but with all that was going on in last week, it definitely presented itself in ways I had never seen before, and honestly, it was very scary. I definitely thought I was dying all week, because that's exactly what it feels like. Like my chest gets really tight, like my muscles and my arms and legs, everything is just kind of doing its own thing. Like my mind's all over the place. Like it feels like I can't breathe. It's just and it happens so randomly. Like I can be okay and I might be working or watching TV or cooking dinner or whatever the case may be, and I'm fine, and then I'm not. And so just trying to navigate that is new. So I definitely say, if you are a person that deals with severe anxiety, I have a very different level of respect for you, because it's very hard to function like that and still do the things you need to do in your day to day life. So um, I'm appreciative of all the love that we have received, all the messages and the phone calls, the hugs, the kind words. We really need that. So I'm appreciative of that. Um, but I know we'll be okay. We just got to make it to the other side. So we just wanted to, you know, um, get on here and kind of update you guys and let you know what's going on. So we will see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Um, I have no idea what the topic's going to be, to be honest, or if we have any guests, we might. So we shall see. But up next on the network is Dembro's show at 8:15. So make sure you come back and check them out, because I'm sure they're going to have a really great show. And to be honest, I could use some laughter. So I'm definitely looking forward to what they got tonight. So see you guys next week.